universal experience of what it is to be human is to experience loneliness. Hi, my name is Father Mike Schmitz, and this is Ascension Presents. How it was in the beginning in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. Here is Adam, he's put in the garden, and he is alone. And God even says it's not good for the man to be alone, but he's not lonely. Loneliness is the result of the fall. It's not the result of being alone. And we know that this is true because here we are, even post-fall, where we cannot be alone and still be lonely. We all experience this. And that's not just people who are living on their own. Maybe you're living on your own. It's not just people who don't have their family nearby, who don't have really, really close friends. It's every single one of us experiences the pain of being surrounded by people, but still feeling lonely. And even if you have someone in your life who loves you so well and so deeply, we know this. We know that at some point, everyone either walks away or they're taken away by time, by death, by circumstances, and every one of us will experience the depths of loneliness. It's not just us, you guys, even Jesus. I'm just projecting this on Jesus, but when God became one of us in Jesus Christ, he experienced the depths of loneliness. Can you imagine growing up with a fully human nature and a fully divine nature, and how isolating that experience could be? Yeah, he's one of us. Of course he's one of us in all things but sin. But think about even that. What if you were like the people around you in everything but sin? Yes, you'd be one of them. But how isolating would that experience be? We know that Jesus experienced that isolation in a profound way. Possibly his entire life. I'm going to put that out there. Possibly his entire life. But at the same time, we know that he experienced it at the end of his life. We know that in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? He takes even the three closest men closest to him and said, come watch with me, come pray with me. And they failed him. And it actually seemed like in the Gospels, it seems like it bothered him because he says, can you not just watch with me 1 hour? Can you not just, here you are taking your rest? Where he was going through one of the most crushing moments. Gethsemane means place of crushing, right? One of the most crushing moments of his entire life. And the people he may have counted on the most failed him. I don't know if you know this about the Psalms, but out of 150 Psalms, even the most devastating of all the Psalms, they always kind of end with a kind of like a positive thing at the end. Like even if like everything else is going wrong in my life, at the end of each Psalm is, but I can trust in the Lord, but I will praise the Lord, except for one Psalm. And that's Psalm 88. It's this foreshadowing of what will happen to Jesus. One of the things it mentions is that my friends have all abandoned me. All day they surge around like a flood. From every side they encircle me. Because of you, friend and neighbor shun me. And the last line of the whole Psalm, Psalm 88, is, my only friend is darkness. Jesus himself experienced this loneliness. Paul, think about St. Paul. At one point, Paul's writing to other Christians. He was in a trial. In the moment of his trial, in the moment of his greatest stress, the moment of his greatest need for others, he said, everyone abandoned me. So God himself knows what it is to be lonely. Here's the apostle, St. Paul, who knew what it was to be lonely. And here you are, here I am. And we know that if we're going to be followers of Christ, if we're just going to be human, we are going to know what it is to be lonely. The question is, what do I do in the loneliness? Because that's the thing. Loneliness is now, after the fall, is a normal part of our lives. And for the Christian, loneliness is one of the ways we experience life close to Jesus. So we're all going to experience loneliness. What do we do when we experience loneliness? The first thing I'd say is not to freak out. I think sometimes when we go through some kind of suffering, and loneliness is a real suffering, have a heart broken is a real suffering. And I know there are people who are listening to this or watching this who you've experienced, you're like, man, my whole life I've been alone. My whole life, and there's no prospect of anyone coming into my life who knows me deeply. Yes, that pain is real. That pain is profound. And that pain is normal. Not only is that pain normal, it's important to remember, you are not alone in your loneliness. Again, if you're someone who your whole life is like, I'm just different from the people around me, and there's something about me that just puts me on the outside, think about Jesus. My proposition is, Jesus' entire life, yes, he goes through life as one of us because he is fully human, but he also walks among us as someone who knows what it is to not be known. When we experience that loneliness, we experience that like, no, I don't know. I don't believe that anyone has ever known me, does know me, or maybe even will ever know me. You have Jesus, who knows exactly what that is like. And my invitation for all of us is not just to hope that maybe someday God brings someone like that into our lives, although that's great, but to right now recognize, Jesus, you know this and more. I would even venture to go on to say that Mary, the mother of God, would also know this. Here's Mary, who was conceived without sin and lived by the grace of God without sin, that she also, while she's completely only human, she also would experience some degree of that loneliness of, there's something about me that sets me apart, not in the way that I imagine it's like, oh, this is amazing, I'm the best person ever. Not that, but that sense of like, okay, this is the pain of not being just like everyone else. This is the pain of not really being known. This is the pain of being on the outside. If you've experienced life on the outside, you know that God himself, Jesus, and the mom he gave to us, Mary, they've experienced this as well. And every saint who ever lived, they experienced this as well. And your mom and your dad, they experience this. And your grandparents, they experience this. And every person around you, they're experiencing it to some degree. And what that means is, even in your loneliness, you're not alone. One last thing. My brother, he sent my brothers-in-law and I, he sent us a text that was a video of a man who's like, he has like scientifically based, like neurology kind of stuff. The video said this. It said, to get a good morning text from someone you know and care about, and someone who knows you and cares about you, has been demonstrated to increase your like happy emotions and give us a feeling of connectedness. Now, maybe you don't get a text like that, but maybe you could send a text like that. Maybe there's someone in your life that you know, this person, I don't think this person has anyone. So maybe I'm the one who reaches out and just says, hey, good morning. Have a good Tuesday. Again, in your loneliness, you're not alone. You can let them know that in their loneliness, they're not alone. Anyways, that's what I got for Almost Here to Ascension Presents. My name's Father Mike. God bless.